Part 2 of what Kung Fu means to me. So over the centuries, Kung Fu has become a glorified joke to a lot of people. Alright? And I'm going to tell you why I said that. Kung Fu has become a glorified joke when people like Yoshida Kim and other people have been coming out and doing stuff. Now, if I change my name legally to Crazy Hawk Grey Wolf, you'd probably all laugh your asses off, and I'm pretty sure that Great Wolf's grandson, Jamie Webster, who is also a martial artist, would have a field day on my ass. Alright, so let's understand how the martial arts went from a serious thing to a bunch of motherfuckers making it out to be a joke. Alright, now there are some martial artists out here that I would never say were fake. Now, there are a lot of martial artists out here that are fake. But I'm going to tell you what I tell everyone else, especially since they started putting people like Yoshida Kim to the forefront. If you haven't had a fight with Chuck Norris, or Aaron Norris, or Frank Dukes, or Mark DeCascos, or my boy Larry Lamb, or Warlock, depending on what you want to call him, or Hurt Perez, Kisimbo Olympus, you haven't had a fight with Kid Carmichael Simon, or any martial artist that was famous from WMAC, then I wouldn't go around preaching who's a real martial artist and who's not. Willie the Bam lives right up here in D.C., alright? So no one's going to the BAM school and calling him out. Willie the Bam will fuck you up, alright? And he's a very peaceful man, from what I've been told. I've never met him, but I know he's a very peaceful man. And he's also a black man who lives in a Chinese or Japanese tradition. Now, if you watch the show, then you ought to know Willie the Bam is one of the premier martial artists, just like Larry Lamb, Wizard, a.k.a. one of the premier martial artists. Now, martial arts has become a joke when people like Yoshida Kim, a white man, with a Japanese first name, Yoshida, which is still a Japanese last name actually, and Kim, a Korean last name, has made money off a martial artist. As, jump up in a ninja suit, fire, you hear the gunshot, and then you slide to the left, and then you slide to the right, and you hear the other one, he catches the bullet in his hand. Alright, let's get real here. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely that you should be stupid enough to stand there and try to catch a bullet with your hand or with your teeth. Those things are not what I would consider real. And in any case, with that, there's probably just enough gunpowder in that shit to make the fucking bullet non-lethal firing speed. Well, let's keep that real. With technology today, I can do that. We can have a bullet shoot across the screen and I'm supposed to catch it like Neo Matrix style and stuff. Let's live in the real world now. Martial arts is not a fucking joke. If you have never fought a martial artist, then before you call people out, like Frank Dukes and the other people I named, maybe you want to go try fighting them and see how badly you're going to get your ass kicked. I've been studying martial arts for a long time. I'm at the point where I tell people, I don't study martial arts, I am the martial arts. Because to be a martial artist, you have to be one with the martial arts. You can't just say you're a martial artist if you've never been into a martial arts dojo. Okay? Now my first 3 years of martial arts, I learned in a dojo. First I learned window shopping. Then I learned in the dojo for free. Then I learned from watching TV. Collecting Bruce Lee movies and moves, collecting Jackie Chan's movies and moves. And I've learned. I've also learned that there's a very effective way of teaching kids how to do martial arts. And I can prove that by taking 6 kids and making them watch as much Years of the Power Rangers as possible, and taking 6 kids into any dojo in the world and tell them you have 6 months to teach them how to do martial arts. These kids in the dojo, that's what they're going to know. Now, a good teacher is also going to teach them the purpose of this block is that when you block up and you strike, or when you block to the right and you strike. For karate, for kung fu, boom, boom, boom. You know, you're going to find a different strike. This is not really a kung fu block, technically. This is a karate block. And there's like almost only real block is like boom and wrap their arm because, you know, you can do that. But from here, it's going to be a little difficult to work the crane into that. Now, if you're blocking and you're working it around this way, that's a easier move than to and try to work it around this way. Unless you got like that windmill syndrome thing you can do with your arms, hey, then you knock yourself out. But I would tell you, in all honesty, the kids that do Power Rangers are going to kick the kids in the dojo's ass. Alright? Because in a dojo, and I hate to say this, and this is mostly American dojos. I can't say another thing about Asian dojos in any other place, but in American dojos, there's a lack of discipline and responsibility. And the lack of that is that a lot of dojos, specifically in America, will only teach you what you are willing to pay for. Alright? Yeah, I said it. I'm calling all you dojo people out. I'm calling you out because the reality is the first 4 months of martial arts should be blocking. Alright? And I'm only saying that because if you have a good defense, you won't have to worry about having too much of an offense. Because if you can outlast someone and make them get tired, you can win the fight by just tiring them out. You know, and then one hit, they go to sleep. If you are taught correctly. We're in a lot of American dojos. When I was taking Taekwondo with Mr. Ennis, he never taught me the butterfly kick, or the tornado kick, or the hurricane kick, whatever one you want to call it. For a lot of Wushu people, I learned Wushu by watching Jackie Chan. Alright? Let's get it right there. I took karate. I switched styles. I took Taekwondo. Now I'm going to tell you why I took these styles. Before I converted to Kung Fu, I didn't know much about Kung Fu. I only knew about karate because that's what most dojos in Virginia was teaching, karate. Then Taekwondo came along and everybody's teaching Taekwondo. But what everybody doesn't seem to gather is that most martial arts spawn from Kung Fu. The problem is that in all these dojos, they teach you at whatever pace they want you to learn at, and they force you to either excel or decel with your skills. If you go into a martial arts dojo and you know more than the black belt, clearly something is wrong. Alright? Now, I've been in this situation. Alright? I have beaten black belts before I ever got into a bigger dojo. When I first learned karate, I beat a black belt, you know, and he had been doing it for like maybe 2 years, where I had been doing it for 3, and it's really all about your teacher and your fighting spirit. You know, your conditioning is everything. So if they don't make you exercise and they only teach you, you know, you're pretty much wasting your time. Let's keep the shit real. No one wants to hear this shit, but I'm an honest man and I'm a truth teller. If you're not doing push-ups or keeping yourself in shape, then all you're learning is flashy hand movements. And if you're not paying attention, you know, this block is to stop this hammer fist. But a person has more than one fist. You know, you have 2 hands, you have 2 fists. Enough said. You have 2 feet. You have 2 instruments of kicking and destruction. Now, most short people are better with their feet because our feet are a little bit more in tune with our spiritual connection to the earth. Or chi. I'm not going to go into all that. That's like a philosophy above my pay grade. Because either you're going to believe in chi or you're not. And I'm not one to force anybody's beliefs down anyone else's throat. Now, the thing with martial arts, there are so many styles. For every person, there's at least 7 or 8 different styles. For every nation, there's at least 7 or 8 different styles. When you talk about Chinese martial arts, you have Wushu, you have Shaolin Ru, you have Northern and Southern Shaolin, you have the 9 or so animal styles, and that's just in China. And we're talking about a country that has 10,000 dialects. Now you go down a little bit to where Korea is, and you have Taekwondo. You go a little bit farther south to where you have Japan. You have Okinawa Kempo. You have Keto. You have regular Kempo. You have Jiu-Jitsu, Ninjutsu, Judo. You have a whole bunch of styles depending on what range of Japan you are in at that time. And you have Bushido, which is the code. You have a lot of other conglomerates. And then you go to the Philippines. You have Filipino stick fighting, which goes right back up to Korea for short sticks. And Kempo and stuff are one of those martial arts that interchange between Japan, Korea, and the Philippines. So, you kind of, everything changes, but the styles are slightly similar. Which means somebody from one of those places met someone else and taught it to them, and they just changed the fucking name. Then you get into Thai fighting. Real Thai fighting. Not this bullshit that we have in America that we call kickboxing. You have real Thai fighting where this is your primary weapon, that mighty forearm, but these mighty knees. But the sad news on that is that you take an 8-hour beating with rods, and you have to stand like this, like perfectly without flinching, and they're beating you down and they're toughening you up. So you want to be a Thai fighter, size helps. I'm going to tell you, each martial art works for different body styles and body shapes and sizes. And with that, you have to understand where these things come from and why these styles are in such demand. All right. So you make movies like Kickboxer, or you make movies like Bloodsport, you make movies like the Kumite. You make movies that show off these styles, and then everybody wants to go Googling it, everybody wants to research it, everybody wants to go joining it. But no one wants to take the time to actually learn the martial art for the purpose that it is there for. However, I took martial arts to become a better street fighter. I took other styles of martial arts so that I wouldn't be stuck in one style of martial art. I took other styles of martial arts so that I can learn the weakness in that martial art, so that when I'm fighting that martial art and I'm like this, and he breaks into a Thai fighting stance, I know how to take him out. He breaks into a fighting stance like this, or he breaks into a capoeira stance, I know how to take him out. Yes, I took a tiny, tiny bit of capoeira. Really, really tiny. Because there's no capoeira schools here. But I have learned really quick that I can adapt on the fly. So, and you need to be able to do that in a fight. Whether it be a street fight, whether it be MMA, you need to be able to adapt on the fly. The best martial artists are the ones that have taken a little of everything and put it into a style of their own. And the reason I say that is because you can have a martial arts style and be a full-on style martial artist, or you can have a martial arts skill and be trapped in that one form of martial arts. Hopefully I projected that out correctly. And the thing about martial arts is that you have to understand, you are better off knowing what style works best for your body. Alright? So here's the good news and the bad news. The good news, that if you are in my height range from 4'11 to 5'3, all styles are optional, because no one expects you to be able to leap really high for Thai fighting if you're 4'11. No one expects you to be able to kick someone who's 6 feet in the face, or do some serious Shaolin Ryu if you're 4'11. I'm 5'3. I always recommend short people try to tend more cater to more Chinese Wushu, Wing Chun type martial arts. Alright? Now, if you're over that range, where you're tall and lanky, I'm sorry if that's insulting. If you're tall and lanky, I always suggest someone goes to more of a Thai fighting style or karate style or something from Japan or Thailand or even Korean, because most of those people are pretty fucking tall. Now, if you're going to be like me, short, because I'm the size of the average Vietnamese woman, if you're going to be a short person in martial arts, I only recommend that you do Chinese martial arts and some Korean martial arts and some Filipino and some Vietnamese type martial arts. Excuse me. Because of our height and our stature, and because of their location in those countries, they are short. Alright? And sometimes what works good for short people really only works for short people. So if you're over like the 6 foot mark, I will never tell you to do Kung Fu, because Kung Fu won't work for you if you're over 6'3" and you're in close quarters. 6'1" is probably about the maximum height limit, I would say, for doing Kung Fu. But I will say take it anyway so that you can learn how to combat it. However, that being said, hypocritical as that was, you will find out what works for you when you don't want to find out. You will find out when blood is trickling out the corner of your eye from getting your ass kicked that, okay, maybe Kung Fu's not for me. Maybe I need to switch styles of Kung Fu. Maybe I need to go more Wushu. Well, Wushu is a bunch of aerial. And if you're over 6 feet, you're pretty tall. Aerial only puts you in a lesser protective area, because it's hard to defend yourself when your feet are on the ground. Alright? Now, if you're going to be over 6'1" or whatever, I definitely recommend Thai fighting and Taekwondo, because it's built for people who have a little bit more linkier lineage in height and build and shit. But I also tell people, you have to find a martial arts style that works for you. If you're 6'2" and you work really well with Taekwondo, that's where you need to stick with. But you need to understand that you should probably study other styles so that you can combat them. The whole key of my martial art journey is I study multiple styles so that I'll know how to defeat them if I can recognize them in battle. Most people can't do that, because most people, oh, I'm going to take karate. I'm going to sit here and, you know, and that's fine and dandy. You're going to learn your own way. But the thing about that is that what works in a dojo doesn't work in the street. You have to practice. You have to live this. It has to be 24/7. Dojo is training. Streets are real. MMA is real, but they have rules. So you have to follow the rules. But in the streets, you only have one rule. You fight to survive. As a martial artist, wow. As a martial artist, you have to know when to strike and when not to strike. There's never a proper time to attack anyone if you're a good person. Now, if you're being attacked, then you fight back. You know, I'm trying to make this sound as peaceful as possible, people. You have to forgive me, because in the real world, sometimes you don't get that option. You know, sometimes when people attack you, that's just your ass on the line, and you need to either survive or be a victim. And I put it that way for the simple fact that if you're not fighting back, you're going to be the victim of an ass whooping, and no one wants to do that, because it's better to give pain than receive it. Now, I'm going to make a third video because I'm at the 17-minute mark, 18-minute mark, and it's probably going to be a little bit long. So I might wind up being in a series of what martial arts means to me.